Here we're given two different polynomials and we're asked to subtract them. The only tricky thing on this, I've taught you how to handle it. Make sure you go through and change all these subtracts to plus negative, plus negative, plus negative, and this one too. You could change this into a plus negative. Well, when you put a plus negative in front of there, what does that mean? It really means there's a -1 in front of there. Okay, and this is the only tricky part of this problem, is that you actually need to distribute this -1 to each one of these pieces. You have to. Okay, you need to distribute to each one of those pieces. So I'd actually rewrite this. -1 times 2a squared becomes a -2a squared. -1 times 5a becomes a -5a. And a -1 times a -1 is a +1. And then pretty much I just have all this same stuff here. 10a squared plus -15a plus -90. Nice expression, everything's being added together. So I'm going to erase what I had here on top so you can see. Some of you wouldn't do that step as I showed you. You'd go directly from this subtract, so I want to point it out too. Maybe you would just say this subtract and you kind of see this subtract would change this into a -2a, this subtract would change this one into a -5a, and this subtract would change this one to a +1. So if you see it both ways, that's great. Now what you're going to have to do is combine like terms. 10a squared and -2a squared are like terms. They're like terms because they both have the a squared. They are not like terms with 15a. -15a and -5a are like terms. They both have an a. So you have to have the same little expression in here to be able to combine them. When you're combining them, the only thing that changes is the coefficient, the number out front. So a 10a squared and a -2a squared make a +8a squared. Not a to the fourth, don't mess up on that. When you are adding and subtracting monomials, all that's going to change is the coefficient. That's the number portion. So what are you going to get when you take a -15a and add it to a -5a? You're not going to get an a squared. You're going to get a -20a. You're just changing the coefficient. And then I can add my last like terms and I will leave you to do that. So again, this is a simple problem, but you cannot get messed up. You will get one that looks like this where you're going to have to know what to do with that subtract sign.